Imagine having the power to alleviate your family's financial burdens with just a few clicks. Today, we're unlocking the secrets to applying for SNAP benefits online in New Jersey, a potential lifeline that many overlook. Welcome to this explainer. If you've ever felt completely overwhelmed by endless government websites and literal mountains of paperwork, you are in the right place. We're going to break down this entire process using clear, focused steps based strictly on the official state and federal guidelines, making it as painless as possible. Here is our roadmap for today. First, we'll cover what NJ SNAP is and who actually qualifies. Next, we'll get your required documents organized. Then we'll walk step by step through the My NJ Helps online portal. After that, we'll look at what happens after you click Submit. And finally, we'll review the crucial rules for keeping your eligibility long-term.
All right, let's jump straight into Section 1, Introduction to NJ SNAP, Broadening Access.
So what's fantastic about New Jersey's approach is that they actively broaden access. Instead of the standard federal limit, New Jersey uses 185% of the federal poverty level for its gross income test. What this means for you is that it helps more people without forcing them to drain their emergency savings first. To put that into perspective, effective through September 2026, a single person can have a gross monthly income up to $2,413 and still potentially qualify for a maximum allotment of $298. For a household of four, that limit jumps to $4,957. And here's a real game changer. If your household falls under 200% of the poverty level, the state completely waives the asset and resource test. Now, you might be wondering about the number $4,500. This is the resource limit that kicks in for a very specific group. So if you have an elderly or disabled household member and your gross income actually exceeds that 185% limit we just talked about, don't worry, you aren't automatically disqualified. Instead, you can qualify under a net income test. The catch? Your countable assets, so things like cash and savings, but excluding your home and retirement accounts, just can't exceed $4,500. Moving right along to Section 2, Gathering your required documents. Preparation is key. Look, gathering your paperwork before you even open your laptop is going to greatly reduce your anxiety and prevent those super frustrating administrative delays. So let's start with the non-negotiables. These are your strictly mandatory verifications. For everyone applying in your household, you've got to prove identity with a driver's license or birth certificate and provide social security numbers. You'll also need to prove your New Jersey residency with a signed lease or a utility bill. Quick note, though, this is actually waived if you're currently unhoused. Crucially, you need documentation for all earned income, like 4 consecutive pay stubs, plus any unearned income like Social Security or unemployment award letters. And if you are a non-citizen applying, you must provide your current Form I-94 or green card. Okay, now we get to a really crucial point, the optional verifications. While you don't legally have to provide these to apply, you absolutely should. Why? Well, because the state subtracts these allowable expenses from your gross income. By proving your shelter costs, childcare fees, or legally mandated child support, you lower your net income on paper, which legally maximizes your monthly SNAP allotment. Plus, if you have a household member who is elderly or disabled, out-of-pocket medical expenses over $35 a month can also be deducted. It is totally worth taking the time to gather these. Section 3. Navigating the online application, mynjhelps.gov. The state uses a unified digital portal called mynjhelps.gov. Think of it as a single secure hub for SNAP, cash assistance, and childcare. It's a massive shift away from localized paper processing. Here is your exact journey through the portal. Step 1 is a fantastic, anonymous 5 to 10 minute pre-screening tool that gives you immediate feedback on whether you might be eligible, totally saving you time. If it looks good, Step 2 is creating a secure account. Now, an email isn't strictly mandatory here, but providing one allows you to get digital notices and real-time status updates, which is super helpful. Step 3 is the core application itself, a 20 to 45-minute interactive wizard. If you get confused, just look for the little information icons on screen. They define complex terms right there for you. Finally, Step 4 is directly uploading photos or PDFs of those documents we just gathered, straight into the system. But hey, if you lack reliable internet, face a language barrier, or honestly just feel completely overwhelmed, you are not alone. You can legally designate an authorized representative, like a trusted friend or family member, to complete the application and the interview for you. On top of that, New Jersey partners with community-based organizations to act as SNAP navigators. For instance, the Community Food Bank of New Jersey offers free, confidential assistance across 11 counties to help you make sense of the rules and easily navigate the portal. Let's move to Section 4. Next steps and benefits. What happens after you click Submit? Okay, so you've clicked Submit. Now what? Well, the electronic system immediately routes your file to your local county social service agency. And there are two distinct processing tracks here. The standard processing track gives the county a maximum of 30 calendar days to process your application and make a decision. But the system is also evaluating your initial data for the expedited emergency track. If you are facing severe food insecurity, say your gross monthly income is below $150 and your liquid assets are under $100, the state mandates an expedited review within 7 calendar days to get emergency food assistance into your hands as fast as possible. Let's break down that timeline so you know exactly what to expect. Day 1, you submit. Between day 2 and day 5, a county caseworker is required to review your file and contact you to arrange a mandatory eligibility interview. By default, this is scheduled over the phone to reduce transportation barriers, though you can request an in-person meeting if you prefer. You absolutely must complete this interview. It's crucial. The caseworker will clarify your details and issue a formal request if any verifications are missing. And then, by day 30 at the absolute latest, you will receive a formal notice of approval or denial. Once you're approved, you'll receive your family's first EBT card in the mail. But when does the money actually hit the card? New Jersey distributes benefits over the first 5 days of the month, and it's based entirely on the 7th digit of your unique case number. So if your 7th digit ends in 1 or 2, you get your funds on the 1st of the month. If it ends in 9 or 0, you'll see your deposit on the 5th. Pretty straightforward, right? Just a quick note, Warren County is a localized exception. They deposit everyone's funds on the 1st of the month. Now security is incredibly vital. To combat electronic theft and card skimming, the state upgraded to chip and tap cards, and they introduced a brilliant security feature. Using the Connect EBT mobile app, you can select the Lock My Card Everywhere option. This blocks all purchases. You just keep your card locked, unlock it on your phone literally right before you check out at the grocery store, and then lock it again. It is a powerful, simple layer of defense for your benefits. Almost done. Let's look at Section 5, Maintaining Your SNAP Eligibility Long-Term Success. Getting approved is really only half the journey. Maintaining your compliance ensures this vital lifeline isn't suddenly cut off down the road. To understand the ongoing rules, we first need to define a slightly clunky bureaucratic acronym, ABAWD. It stands for Able-Bodied Adults Without Dependents. If you fall into this massive demographic segment, your ongoing eligibility is tied to very specific, strict federal work requirements that dictate exactly how long you can remain on the program. We need to talk about the 2025 federal budget reconciliation, which fully took effect in early 2026 because the ABAWD rules expanded significantly. The upper age limit was actually raised a full decade, from age 54 up to 64. So if you're not exempt, you are now subject to a time limit of receiving only 3 months of SNAP benefits within a 36-month period, unless you are working, volunteering, or in a training program for at least 80 hours per month. Furthermore, previous automatic exemptions for military veterans and individuals experiencing homelessness were eliminated. No exceptions there. Even parents of teenagers ages 14 to 17 are now subject to these 80-hour mandates since the caregiver exemption was lowered to only cover households with children under 14.
Here is a surprising and absolutely vital fact for all SNAP recipients, the number 9. If your EBT card remains completely inactive for 9 consecutive months, meaning you make 0 purchases, your unused benefits are permanently expunged from the account. Once the state reclaims those funds due to inactivity, they literally cannot be replaced. So please, utilize the nutritional support you've been approved for.
As we wrap up today's explainer, it's really important to remember that government regulations, income limits, and application procedures do evolve over time. Everything we've covered today is based on the 2025 to 2026 operational standards. So always verify the current details and how they apply to your unique situation through official channels, like your local county social service agency or one of those free community SNAP navigators we talked about earlier. We've demystified the process, outlined the rules, and shown you exactly where to go. The digital tools at mynjhelps.gov are designed to put this assistance right within your reach. So, with your paperwork checklist in mind and a crystal clear view of the road ahead, are you ready to take the first step towards securing your family's nutritional future today? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.